pretty interested in ArcBlock itself because it seems like you are more a developer tool, right? Rather than pushing anything of your own. Earlier today in class, we were talking about the lean model canvas and how a company would have its value proposition and everything. So I'm wondering, how does ArcBlock, what is the revenue model of ArcBlock? And I know your value proposition is you're making blockchain or specifically dApp development a little bit more accessible to a wider. How do you guys generate revenue and how do you money to keep doing what you're doing?
ArcBlock is trying to build an ecosystem that let the developers work together with each other, cooperate with each other, and also not only the developers but also the marketers and the salespeople or many others. First of all, the software industry be able to kind of build a software with components. This is like a dream for the software industry for a very long time. What stops us from not be able to build a full application that is just to have reusable components is not because of technology. The technology is mature there. The problem is economic. Imagine if you want to build iPhone apps. Let's say you want to build something like a TikTok. The core part of a TikTok is just the video processing. I have an amazing algorithm to have the cool video features. I want to launch this app. But then that part only costs you less than 50% of your time. Then what do you need to do? You need to build an accounting system to let the user register, and you need to verify the users. You need to build an iOS app, build the Android app. You need to have the comment system. More than 50% of those works are exactly the same that people already built it for TikTok, built for Instagram, built for Facebook, Twitter. You spend only a few time on the core features. That's also created barriers, right? If even you are, for example, even you are amazing developers, you have great algorithm, it's very hard for you to build a successful apps because all those supporting features, you have to do that your own. It costs money and time. But why people do not building this system for people immediately to use is because economic, because only the people who are closest to the customer can make the most of the money. If you're behind that, you get very little money or you could get no money. Look at the open source industry, for example. Everybody depends on the open SSL, but eventually find the open SSL team cannot make a living. So they have to stop working on that to do something else. So ArcBlock's bigger vision is try to build this ecosystem. What if we use blockchain smart contract to solve the problem for this revenue sharing? A software can consist of multiple different components. They can very easily compose with each other. When the user makes a payment, when the revenues come in, it automatically makes the revenue split between different parties. If I'm using another component, I don't even need to talk to others to make a business contract. I can just sign the smart contract, and then I can use that. That is a bigger vision ArcBlock tried to kind of achieve. With that, we think that we can potentially disrupt the whole software industry.
Oh, that's a cool vision, yeah.
Yeah.
You hear about that a lot in the developer ecosystems, right, where you have composability and then Lego blocks and how you put those Lego blocks together, right, which is like a conversation that goes on a lot.
Yeah.
But you don't hear about the people who publish those Lego blocks making any kind of income. And that's what you guys are trying to work at, right? Like, yeah, you guys can kind of be like a Unity for dApp developers, because Unity, that's kind of what they do, right? They have marketplaces for sprites and for different physics engines and very specific stuff on there.
Especially ArcBlock blockchain, we just use that as a billing and operation support system. Essentially, the DID is our core architect, and everything is based on DID. Our business is a new generation of cloud computing. It's a new type of cloud. We use the blockchain for billing and operation support to do the revenue split and to do the contract.
So I'm trying to put this in my own words, right? So the components that a developer would pull into their app would be each kind of like an NFT that is going to automatically source the revenue share back to the developers, like the original developer of the tool, right, of the component.
You are absolutely right. You actually hit the right point. We use the NFT, but not the ERC 721 NFT. Our NFT payload is verifiable credentials. We use the NFT to represent any computing resources that the user can have. a software license, a node, a piece of the storage space, all of them are represented by NFT. When the user buy a server or buy a software, buy a blocklet, what they actually buy is they bought an NFT. But those NFT is actually mapping to the physical worlds of the computing resource. This is our secret sauce. With the NFT, so that makes the trading so much easier, right? And make the management much easier. Imagine I bought a software and then I want to give that to you. In this modern design, I bought software means I bought an NFT. I give it to you is basically I transfer this NFT to you. And then you can use this software immediately because you have this NFT. And I give that to you is not double spending, so I'm going to lose this. The NFT itself guaranteed that I'm not making illegal copies. So all they need to care is about those NFTs. If I bought a software, I no longer want to use it. Can I sell it to friends? Yes, you can sell it. So you sell the NFT to others. So the NFT is instantly verifiable. People will not worry about buy your second-hand thing. Is that fake? Everything is transparent. And
you get a royalty on it.
Yeah.
That's how.
And also because you have this NFTs is basically NFT is like a standard protocol. That basically means any kind of NFT you can put in the same marketplace. So they can just sell it. No matter it's a computer, it's a storage, or it's a network, or it's a software license. They are all the same. Right?
It's a transferable license that you keep making royalties if someone wants to resell it to someone else when someone's done using it.
Yeah, exactly. And if you have a software which is composed by multiple different components, whenever that NFT make any revenue, it's based on the NFT definition of the revenue sharing. The blockchain is going to share the revenue instantly for you. When I create this software, and the people already agreed and already believe that this is going to be handled by blockchain. So in the real software industry, making this kind of business deal is really time consuming. Also,
right.
Yeah. Once we can achieve that or part of that, I think we're going to definitely have this opportunity to change the ecosystem.
Yeah, like Adobe could use this, like say you bought an NFT that would give you access to Photoshop, or a different one that gives you access to Premiere Pro, or another one that gives you access to one of their other, hundreds of different, whatever, they have a platform suite, a bunch of different programs. Someone could a user like myself, let's say I'm done, well, I used it for a project, I don't want to use it anymore, I could sell the NFT, which gives another person access, and then Adobe makes, a royalty on that,
mm-hmm.
and, I make a little bit back, maybe not, 100% of what I paid for it originally, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So maybe this is a bit of a nuanced question, but like David said, if I'm as a developer who bought the NFT and use it in my software, in my dApp, and I don't want to use it anymore, and I sell that NFT, do I still have access to the code of that I already plug into my app? Will that be deactivated and I no longer have, say, the chat component in my app?
If you're a developer, you compose others' software component to your application. So in that case, what exactly you're doing is you're not owning an NFT of others' software. You actually create a contract. That contract is basically say, hey, I have this software, this piece of this software is directly using other software. You do not need to own other stuff and then kind of remodify it, right? Our concept is up to any of those components owners to decide, do I want to open source it or do I want to close source it? But the NFT itself can only solve your ownership on-chain or control the license on-chain, but it does not control the physical world. When you develop software, there's two cases. In the past, when you want to use a reusable component, one case is that because the reusable component developers, they spend a lot of time, so they price this very high. So for example, I want streaming component, but I have to pay $10,000 for it. So I can, as a new startup, I cannot afford it. So I have to not using it. I use some cheaper one, better one, or good one, right? So this is a waste resource. This is one problem. The other problem is you sell that for very cheap. You say, hey, $1,000. And I use that, but I eventually make a couple million. You still live very poorly with $1,000 when potentially you're not going to be able to make a living. And then I have another problem. Even I make $1 million, but now I no longer have a vendor. In the very early days, all the software are super expensive. The reality is most of those software but nobody use because nobody can afford it. So the open source model is basically people saying, I don't care, I just want you people to use it. Let's open source it. Open source movement definitely pushes the software industry forward. But now just recently, for example, like Elasticsearch, they're going to be very happy when Amazon take it and a lot of people are using it. From one point of view, if I'm a developer of Elasticsearch, I will be super happy because so many people use it. But then when I heard about how much money AWS made, and then look at my bank account, I'm becoming unhappy.